What if the problem isn't that your body is running out of energy, but that it can no longer reach the energy it already has? You look at yourself and see fat, fatigue, brain fog, or weakness. Biology sees something very different. It sees a system full of fuel, but locked behind the wrong signals. That's why missing a few meals can feel terrifying, even when your body is carrying enough energy to survive for weeks. The shaking, the hunger, the sudden fear that something is wrong. That feeling is not starvation. It's a disconnect. In this video, we're not selling discipline, diets, or extreme fasting. We're explaining what actually happens inside your body when food stops coming in and your biology is forced to make a choice it hasn't made in decades. If you value calm, evidence-based health explanations like this, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find real science without fear or hype. Now, let's step inside the system. Most people misunderstand until it's too late. When food stops, nothing breaks. Once food stops coming in, nothing dramatic happens at first. There is no emergency alarm, no collapse, no sudden failure. Your body does not panic the way your thoughts do. For the first several hours, blood glucose remains stable. Cells continue to receive energy. Your heart beats normally. Your brain still functions. From the outside, everything looks almost unchanged. And this is where most people misunderstand what's happening. They feel hunger and assume danger. They feel emptiness and assume loss. But biologically, this early phase is not fasting at all. It is simply the tail end of digestion. The body is still running on glucose from your last meal. Excess energy stored as glycogen in the liver is quietly released, acting as a buffer designed for exactly this situation. This system exists because humans did not evolve with constant food access. It exists because missing meals was normal. What you're feeling at this stage is not energy shortage. It's interruption. Your stomach notices silence. Your brain notices missing signals. Habit begins to protest. And habit can feel urgent, even when survival is not at risk. The first misinterpretation. Hunger is not what you think. Early hunger is largely neurological. It's shaped by timing, memory, and expectation, not by cellular failure. That's why hunger often arrives in waves. It rises, it fades, then returns again. If hunger were a true emergency, it would not behave this way. Researchers have shown that hunger hormones peak around habitual meal times even when energy is still available. Your body is not asking for fuel yet. It's asking a question. Is food coming back or not? Until that question is answered, the deeper systems remain on standby. This is why the first hours feel uncomfortable but unstable. Your biology is waiting for context. The quiet shift. Insulin begins to fall. As time passes without food, insulin levels begin to decline. This is not a malfunction. It is a message. Insulin is not just about sugar. It is a permission signal. High insulin tells the body, store energy, don't touch reserves. Lower insulin says, incoming energy is uncertain. Prepare alternatives. And here's where modern metabolism runs into trouble. Many people carry enormous energy reserves, but years of constant eating keep insulin elevated. The vault is full, but locked. So when food stops, the brain reacts first. Hunger intensifies. Restlessness grows. Thoughts fixate on food, not because the body is starving, but because access has not yet been granted. This state has a name in research: metabolic inflexibility. The body has fuel, but cannot switch to using it smoothly. Retention peak. The paradox no one explains. Here is the paradox that traps most people. The loudest discomfort appears before the body actually needs energy. While your mind complains, your fat stores remain sealed. You feel weak while sitting on tens of thousands of calories. This feels like failure, but it's closer to withdrawal. Your metabolism has spent years depending on frequent glucose delivery. Now that delivery has paused, the system must renegotiate its priorities. Discomfort is not the enemy here. Misinterpretation is, when the vault opens, belly fat becomes active. As insulin stays low for longer, fat tissue changes its role. It stops behaving like storage and becomes a supplier. Fatty acids are released into the bloodstream. The liver receives them and begins converting them into ketones. This process is slow, measured, highly regulated. Nothing is being burned recklessly. As ketone levels rise, the brain begins adapting. Ketones cross the blood-brain barrier efficiently. They provide energy with fewer fluctuations and less oxidative stress than constant glucose spikes. This is why something unexpected often happens. Hunger softens. Energy steadies. Thoughts become clearer, not duller, not euphoric, not wired, just calm. Anthropologists describe this state as deeply evolutionary. In times of scarcity, clarity mattered more than comfort. Your ancestors needed focus to survive, not weakness. Your biology still remembers that. The muscle fear. And why it's misplaced. At this point, fear shifts. If I keep going, will my body eat itself? Under controlled conditions, the answer is no. As fat mobilization increases, growth hormone rises. This hormone acts as a protector, helping preserve lean tissue during energy scarcity. Your body is strategic. It does not dismantle vital structures, while abundant fuel remains. Muscle breakdown becomes significant only when fat reserves fall too low or stress signals remain elevated for too long. This is where context matters. Duration matters. Supervision matters. The body is adaptive, but not limitless. The deeper program. Cellular cleanup. With digestion paused and fuel stabilized, cells redirect attention inward. Damaged proteins are identified. Dysfunctional components are dismantled. Resources are recycled. This process, known as autophagy, is not dramatic. You don't feel it happening, but it is one of the most fundamental maintenance systems in biology. Constant feeding suppresses it. Scarcity allows it to operate. This doesn't make fasting magical. It makes biology logical. The body finally has space to repair what constant intake keeps postponing. The limit where adaptation ends. But adaptation is not infinite. As fat reserves thin, stress hormones rise. The body begins protecting the brain and heart at all costs. Electrolytes become fragile. Recovery slows. Risk quietly increases. Clarity can remain, even while internal buffers weaken. This is why prolonged fasting without supervision is dangerous, and why refeeding must be careful. The body is resilient, but it is not careless. Closing transition. The real insight, the real lesson was never about losing belly fat. It was about understanding that your body carries an ancient intelligence, one built for fluctuation, not constant input. When you understand that intelligence, you stop fearing hunger and start respecting limits. And respect is what keeps adaptation from turning into harm.